Hi, my name is Kev from dataSights, and in this video we're going to get across the reason, the purpose, the why of our caching service. So this is something that we've developed uniquely that enables performant, particularly online reporting. So what I mean by that is PowerBI.com, Looker, Tableau. Essentially a reporting tool that is reading live data, i.e. what it's doing under the hood is generating SQL against a live data source, and how to make sure that those reports don't take minutes to render, or worst case, don't actually render at all. So it is a fairly complicated thing to get across, so feel free to reach out if you have any further questions, and I'll do my utmost to make sure that we go through this piecemeal. Now, as part of the methodology that we essentially help guide our clients with to easy reported, easy automated data, we're strong proponents, and you probably would have already come across our learnings and teachings around SQL views or report views. So just to dive into that really quickly, you can, of course, if we're looking at something like Xero or Deer, you can build reports directly off of these tables of data. However, what happens in Power BI, if we just use that example, you create a model, you go and you join the tables together, relationships and all the rest of it. You write more complicated DAX, which is a kind of function language to do calculations. And what you end up with is this rather complex, heavy Power BI report that is very slow to render, quite complicated to maintain. So what we do is we really drive home through use of our SQL view templates, or we can use AI data query to create views as well, or you can go in and create some views as well. And the idea is to end up with, instead of referencing all the tables, referencing one view of data, like this particular Xero sales view, which is the one that we'll be caching, is a combination of invoices, credit notes and bank transactions all merged together. In other words, quite complicated, but the end result is that you end up with a nice simple table to work with. So the downside of views is that they can have a lot of logic in them, and they can be slower to render. Not so much as multiple tables, but anyway. So what we've quite simply done is created something called our caching service. And before we go in and show you how easy it is to use, I'll explain what it's doing under the hood. All we're doing is, after we sync Xero data, we are going in. If you say, I would like my Xero sales view cached, you go and add that to the caching service. The caching service automatically runs. It executes that view, so it gets the contents out. So that can be a bit of a process, 2, 3, 4 minutes or something like that. Or if it's super complicated, like inventory data across your whole business, it could be 15 minutes, it could be half an hour, who knows. But anyway, the point is the caching service executes that data in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. And then we take that data and we copy it to a table with the same name, and we rename this view. So this view will be renamed, and they'll pop up a table called Xero Sales View. Now, if your reporting tool Power BI has already connected to that view, and you go and add it to the caching service, that is no problem, because basically Power BI or Excel or Tableau, they don't care whether they're connecting to views or tables, it's just columns. So you can, for example, start building your report against a view, and if and when it starts slowing down, add it to the caching service, and you won't have to make a change in your report at all. It will now just use the post-processed data. And therefore, now when your reporting tool is reading the data, it's not doing any on-the-fly calculations or logic inserts. It is just working with plain processed data. So in other words, it's a very quick and efficient and effective way to move from, say, reporting off an operational data set and moving more towards a sort of data warehousey approach without all the hoopla and pain of pipelines and a whole bunch of stuff, trust me. So how do we get this done now that all the blabbering is out of the way? So under Services and Tools, Caching Service, all you have to do is find the view that you want to cache and click Add. At a later stage, you can trigger from here, but before we do that, we go into our Syncs page, and we add a caching service, and we can set this to run at 6 a.m. sort of local time. However, once we've added it, it is generally a good idea to pause it, because we don't need to be running this on a schedule, because after Deer or Xero or Pipedrive or HubSpot or Shopify or whatever other connectors you have, we automatically run this caching service. So we can pause this one here. This is just a demo account, so I've paused all these other syncs. In your account, you will have all of these as running, essentially. So now what we can do very quickly to see what's going to happen. So remember, under here in the data viewer, we don't have a table. If we search Xero sales view, we only have a view called Xero sales view. So now what we do is we can, either from the syncs page or from here, we can go and trigger this sync. Just got to try and not click my face, basically, in this Loom video. There we go. There we go. And I will just pause the video while that data is cached. Alright, so we can see here the caching service is now run, and quite simply now, relatively so, you'll see now that we have a view here called imported to table underscore Xero sales view. You can still connect to this if you want. However, in order to get fast data into Power BI and make sure that Power BI renders, or any online reporting tool, it'll also obviously improve the speed of Excel and pushing to Google Sheets and everything. So it is quite far-reaching. And now under Xero, there should be a table called Xero Sales View, and then this is the data that you want to be using. So in summary, it is always preferable to work off views. We have an immense amount of templates. We can help you customize them. You can use AI Data Query to build them. You can create them yourself. What it does is it just helps you blend that data before it gets into the reporting tool. And then as your data set grows, if you're noticing some performance issues, or if it's a huge complicated view to start off with, you can just quite simply click that plus button in the caching service. You won't have to change anything in your reporting tool, and you will now be working with cached data, post-processed data, and we've been doing this for years, and it is the difference between frustration and massive success. So hope that makes sense. Again, it is relatively complicated, but at the end of the day, we're doing things properly, we are tackling the hard problems, and we're solving them. So any questions or queries you have, please reach out at any time whatsoever. I might just add one little thing actually. If you are going to change views going forward, it is a good idea, well, what you need to do is go and change the SQL inside here. Make your change, click Alter, and hit execute. And then run the caching service. If you want the data to be reflected in that table straight away from this page here, you can just go and trigger a refresh. And yeah, so that's the process of changing a view once it's been cached, essentially. Again, hope it makes sense. Any questions, fire away. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye.